right. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That podcast live. I did it right? Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did.
Let's see if I fucking
You
did it
got
right.
this. I believe in you.
All right. So last week we previewed Just One of the Guys.
Uh-huh.
This week we watched Just One of the Guys. Your initial thoughts?
Meh. Eh. There were a lot of things that annoyed me in this movie.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that annoyed me in this movie too. My initial thoughts was not one montage in this entire movie. The fuck?
Quiet on the set.
Camera speed.
Sound production.
Roll sound.
Rolling. Sound production. Take 2.
Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? Now we're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Or your father was right. You were an idiot and everything you watched was stupid. So buckle up, movie aficionados. Over the top gore? Check. Over embellished action? Check. Gratuitous nudity? Double check. Storyline so absurd you could drive a semi-truck through those plot holes. Oh yeah, some of those movies didn't even know what a movie plot was. And that's the way we liked it. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
Thank you for giving us the podcast for the montage that this movie was missing. Appreciate that.
When I was watching that, I was looking at the over the top gore thing.
Yeah.
Should have used Ghost Ship.
Oh yeah. But that one's a classic though.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's kind of long to get to the point of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's definitely my favorite if something's going to get sliced by a random wire. I mean, I'm still to this day still my favorite Final Destination movie.
That was the podcast I that was put up Sunday. Was Ghost Ship.
Yes, I saw.
Yeah, because I thought, why sit on them when if I play that one and I do Jaws 2 this Sunday,
yep,
then we'll still be 2 ahead at all times. But at least it won't just sit there and not get used.
True story.
Yeah.
No, I like the peppering.
Yeah. So, Just One of the Guys. Yeah. We might as well just dive right in.
Let's dive right in because I'm so disappointed in this movie.
The plot that I got, the only plot I could find, and I'm not writing out an entire plot. Well, this one I almost had to because not a whole lot of in-depth plots on this movie, which makes sense. It's not an in-depth movie.
This movie barely had a plot.
Yeah, it was
barely.
Yeah. All right.
Although I will say this, how did you watch it? What streaming service?
I paid for it. I couldn't find it.
So it's on Hollywood Suite.
Yes, I did see that.
And you can get a free 30-day trial.
And I was gonna do that, and why didn't I do that?
I don't know, but I also really, really enjoy Hollywood Suite because I have the channels on my TV.
Yeah. And because I looked at that and I looked at the movies, and I'm like, they have a lot of good movies on there.
They have a lot of great movies.
But it's all movies that I won't watch because they'd be like, well, that would make they're all podcast movies.
See, but that's why I signed up for the 30-day free preview, which I know is gonna roll into me having it yet another streaming service.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with that because I'm like, chances are any movies that we're gonna end up watching will be on there.
Well, that's the kind of excuses I'm going to start going with now. Like,
You're like,
when the argument comes,
podcast.
do we need another streaming service? What if that one movie is only on that one streaming service?
That's how I've ended up with so many streaming services because movies have been on there, and I'm like, well, I'll sign up for the free trial, and then I just
$5 for a rental, $4 for a rental. That's how much I think Hollywood Suite is a month.
Hollywood Suite is $4.99 a month.
Yeah, or you can get even cheaper if you pay $50 for the year.
Yeah,
you save $10 or something like that. I think that's the way I'm gonna go. Just pay for it a year, and then I don't even have to think about it.
Honestly, you get 2 months free if you do that.
Yeah.
So I might switch that when my trial is up. Um, but I love Hollywood Suite and because they play the most random movies.
Is that the one where it has like the 90s channel, the 80s
It
channel,
has
the
the
70s channel?
70s, the 80s, and the 90s, and the 2000s channel.
Yes. Yeah.
So you get everything on there.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyways,
Between that, Tubi, Prime,
yeah,
yeah, it's a lot of, and even Disney because they have a nice catalog too. Yeah.
they have a great catalog. So yeah, before the movie started, it had a little disclaimer, and they were like, "Guys, there are homophobic. It's a movie in its original form.
Oh,
There,
okay.
yeah. So there was a little disclaimer that they put. They were like, there are homophobic terms and behaviors, like FYI."
Oh, yeah. No,
And
I
then
didn't get that.
they didn't edit the movie, and I was like, "I appreciate that because 'cause they're like, "Some of this might make you uncomfortable. If this is the kind of thing that makes you uncomfortable, don't watch the movie." And I was like, "Right on.
I
Let's
wonder if
watch this
my, I
movie."
wonder if mine was edited. It didn't seem bad.
There were some terms, like, they used the term
I think mannequin
trans
was more offensive.
oh, mannequin was definitely more offensive, but they used some terms that are definitely were definitely used in the '80s, but aren't now, like transvestite,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
transsexual, like,
Yeah.
things like that. So I was like, "Eh," and then there was some stuff where I was just like, this is interesting," but it wasn't, like, in your face offensive.
No, no, no. It was definitely,
Yeah,
although I was surprised at the PG rating.
there were a lot of titties. The titties were
Yeah.
pictures,
Their pictures.
but there were a lot of titties.
Really, I have a suspicion of why I really like this back in the day.
I'm not even gonna lie to you, but the first scene where Buddy is like he has his trunk of Playboys out and
Yeah.
he's putting all the pictures. I was so distracted by one particular centerfold that was up because the amount of pubic hair she had, it looked like
Oh, yeah.
panties. And I
No, that was all Bush.
was from like this was the norm at that point. Like it's becoming the norm again, but I'm like,
Mm.
I that's a lot of pubic hair, and I just kept staring at it. It was very distracting. I just thought I'd share that.
All right. Let's get into this movie.
Yes, let's.
Um, Terry Griffith is an aspiring teenage journalist in Phoenix, Arizona. I thought it was California. But
Me
anyways,
too.
who feels that her teachers do not take her articles seriously because of her good looks. Okay, so that's the plot so far. So Terry is sleeping in bed in a white lacy top and a white lacy panties. The alarm goes off and she gets up and looks perfect.
Yes.
Walks over to her balcony and looks out over her gardens. Why? I don't
Because
know.
she needed to bend over the railing for a hot
Yeah.
second so everybody could get a good look at her very nice ass.
And I did
It was
I did
lovely.
write, yeah, I did appreciate it because the 26-year-old teenager had a great ass. I
Why
didn't
did
feel
they
bad
all look so old?
I didn't feel bad ogling any of these people in this movie because I think the youngest person was Buddy.
Yes.
He was actually 16 at the time when it was filmed, and what's her name? Fenn.
Sherilyn Fenn.
Sherilyn Fenn was the next youngest actor at 19. All
You're
the rest were in their mid to late 20s.
you know what? That makes a lot of sense because, you see well, you see Terry Griffith, and I was like, "Okay, she's cute, whatever. She looks kinda young." I'd give her, early 20s
Yeah,
in, like, real life. And then her boyfriend literally looked like he was, like, a
40.
35-year-old stockbroker, and I was like, "What?
Yeah, he's in college.
This makes me so uncomfortable."
I made a couple notes, but yeah, he's supposed to be in college, so that would put him in
Yeah,
his early 20s.
he did
Unless he's
not look
going
it.
for a doctor, and which would make him 26
Who still lives at the frat house?
if he's done.
Mm.
Unless he's Chris Farley. Lots of people go to college for 7 years. And they're called doctors.
I know someone who went to college for 7 years and is not a doctor.
Yeah, you can almost see why though, how much fun it is. I did make a note. If I'm being honest, when I was in high school, I thought that was how every girl got up in the morning and started their day. in white lacy panties, looking perfect. Look at their
A
window.
little dainty camisole.
Yeah. A bird goes on their finger, or a
Yeah.
butterfly goes by. Yeah.
And they sing to each other. Of course. Of course.
She has some breakfast with her brother, and then it's off to her perfect 80s high school. Like not the 80s I remember, but I was in high school in the 80s. So for what I remember from movies and TVs, it looked pretty authentic to me.
Mm. My brother and my sister were both in high school in the 80s. And unfortunately, they both went to schools that had uniforms, so nobody had a sense of style.
Oh, yeah.
Um, they were all wearing the exact same thing. But I mean, the hairstyles and the accessories on point.
Then her friend Denise is complaining about her dating options while Terry is planning her summer with her boyfriend and her part-time job at the Sun Tribune because she's confident she's going to be winning the school writing competition.
Hmm.
The teacher, see this, I had to add all this because this just jumps to 20 minutes into the movie, the plot. The teacher tells the class that the winners will be posted after lunch. Then they're in the malt shop. Yeah, I don't know, it's a place where it's full of high school kids. It reminded me of what was that place on 90210?
The Peach Pit.
That's it, the Peach Pit.
Or if we're thinking Saved by the Bell, the Max.
Yeah, some sort of 80s 90s high school hangout.
High school hangout, yeah.
Yeah. Then her brother comes by, hits on her friend Denise, talks about a sexual peak is almost over, makes some orgasm noises. Terry goes back to see her name on the contest winner's sheet, but her name isn't there. Then she hears the teachers coming, talking to another this part was kind of creepy. Not kind of creepy. It was creepy.
No, it was creepy. It was super gross. And then
They obviously added it for comical effect.
Well, I
But
think they were trying to
back
push
then,
No, they were trying to push the whole, like, sexism to validate that her article really was not chosen because she was a girl, I think. I
yeah,
think that was why they were like, "Put in something about the teacher looking at her legs, yeah, and talking about what she's wearing." I'm like, "It doesn't make a point," because we find out that that's not the point.
no, it wasn't
And then
at
we
all.
lost the whole movie at that point. I was like,
Yeah,
"Well, what?"
yeah, because he says, hold on, I wrote it down. I say we fail her so she's here another year.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
And
you
then
get
his
yourself
own
fired.
he laughs. He's like, "Oh, that's a funnies."
Yeah, you do something like that, you can get fired. It's like,
Sir, that's a sexual
job
harassment.
sucks. Terry asked why she didn't win the teacher. She didn't win. What? Okay. Terry asked why she didn't win, and the teacher says basically her writing is great, her subject matter is boring,
Mhm.
and he also suggests she should try modeling.
Yes, because apparently you're pretty, be a model.
Yeah, be a model.
Like, it's so easy.
Yeah, because that's an easy thing to do. Then we get back into the actual plot. So this jump from feels that her teacher did not take her article serious from her good looks, and jumps to after failing to get her dream job at the newspaper intern, she comes to the conclusion that is because she is a girl. With her parents out of town on a 2-week Caribbean vacation, Terry decides to remedy the situation. She enrolls as a boy, Terry with a Y instead of an I, at a
Mhm.
rival high school, her real identity known only to her sex-obsessed younger brother, Buddy, and her best friend, Denise. On her first day, she meets Rick Morehouse, a socially awkward transfer student whom she finds attractive. Trying to stay close to Rick, Terry helps him through an image makeover, encouraging him to start talking to girls. Okay, so we have to back up a bit
Yeah, no, that
because it misses
jumped.
quite a bit. Yeah. Terry's parents are gone, so her brother, Buddy, is redecorating his bedroom with the Playboy models. That was kind of funny.
That was funny because it starts with, like, 3 and then eventually the wallpapered.
Yeah, the whole room is just
The whole room is just
wallpapered in
wallpapered
it.
with naked girls. Or naked women, I should say.
We also meet her boyfriend, who is in college and looks like he graduated 10 years ago.
He's a middle-aged stockbroker. We can say it. We can say it. He's also, like, a super douchebag.
Yeah, I think he plays. I don't know if he was typecast back then because he did look very familiar, but he
Yeah.
had that look that if you wanted that guy, that
He
douchey guy, he
he
probably got a
definitely
phone
looks
call.
like the frat brother that you can't leave your drink alone with.
Yeah.
Yeah. God bless. But yeah, no, he's terrible also. Like, there was no chemistry at
No.
all,
No, because
and none of it made sense.
because they get into an argument by the pool. Kevin
Yeah, and
refers to her writing as a hobby.
he's super handsy, and then
Yeah.
when she's like, "And he suggested I be a model," he's like, "Do you know how much money they make?" And I'm like, "Hmm, wow, they just made you, like, overall terrible."
Yeah. So then later that night, the doorbell rings and Buddy answers it. It's Terry disguised as a boy asking for his sister. Buddy calls for a sister, not realizing it is his sister. Then they have the whole Buddy trying to teach her how to walk, stand, and of course, scratch her balls to be a man. That was funny.
It
Sort of. Like, it
was
wasn't, like, hysterical funny, but
Yeah, it was amusing. It was very
yes.
amusing because also you have that moment, it was so funny because she's like, "Well, what if my balls don't itch?" And he's like, "Everybody's
Yeah.
balls itch." And I
Yeah,
was like, "Actually,
it's a
valid."
fact.
It is a fact. Because I have yet to meet a man who can resist scratching his balls at least once
Yeah.
in my presence. I'm like, "How? How? What is do you need a cream?" Like, I don't understand. But it is a fact, all balls itch.
Yeah. And then she goes to the school. She's cut her hair. She dresses kind of like a boy,
Definitely like a boy.
but a
Um,
very, I want to say, like, more on the hip side than your regular.
it was definitely not mainstream cool.
No.
It was not mainstream high school cool. Like, that's the fringe cool kid,
Yeah.
and I'm cool with it because it was a great ensemble.
And she kind of looked like a boy.
Ish.
Boyish, yeah.
I mean, I wasn't expecting stubble or anything, but
No. Um it probably would have been easier for it to do today than back in 1985.
well, it was really hard for me to pay attention or to believe that Terry was a boy because there were so many, like, mannerisms that were exaggerated.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was very distracting, and I'm like, "I know you're playing something." So I don't know how anybody really believed that Terry was a boy at this new high school.
No. No. Like, if it was today, yeah, would have
Oh,
pulled it off easy. Back in
mm-mm.
85, yeah, but it would have been hard.
Well, I'm
But
like, "Come
for
on,
the
guys.
movie's sake.
This is a little." But that was, like, the way Terry, God bless Joyce, if this was your choice of the directors, I don't know which one, but the ambling walk, and I was like, "It's
Yeah.
a little much, my friend."
Yeah. Yeah, because there's a few other things that are coming up that I.
Yeah.
So we also meet Rick.
Mhm.
We meet some nerds.
Yes.
Um, some more girls, popular girls, bullies. The
Mhm.
amazing William Zapka as Greg,
Mm.
and we first meet him while he's giving a junior a wedgie.
Yes. It's nice. It's a beautiful welcome.
Like, because he's trying to show his friends proper lifting,
Yeah,
and then he throws Terry. Terry tries to join in the conversation, and he throws Terry into a prickly bush.
as you do.
Yeah, yeah, of course. After many episodes in and out of school, including fending off a group of bullies led by bodybuilder Greg Tolan, dealing with her real college boyfriend Kevin, and being set up on blind date with a potential new girlfriend named Sandy, Terry manages to be accepted as one of the guys. Also, the main reason all this is happening, Terry submits her article to the new school's writing department. The teacher says it's very good and shows a lot of promise, but he won't submit it to the Tribune, the Sun Tribune. And we find out the first teacher was right. Her article, while technically good, is just boring.
Yeah, there's no fire in it, there's no passion,
No. So it's
and
not a sexist thing.
it's not a
Um,
sexist thing, and that's really where the movie should have ended.
yeah. Yes, the
Because
teacher
'cause I'm
was
like,
right.
the first part of this movie was, pointless because you set up a premise that is no longer true, why is Terry still pretending to be a boy?
So Terry decides to stay in the new school as a boy to write a new and exciting article. Why are nerds portrayed so over the top in the 80s? Like this was on the cusp of the mentally challenged.
I was gonna go more delusional mental illness
Yeah,
because
yeah, I'd buy that. Yeah.
it's a little excessive. I'm like, I understand nerds, but pretending to be aliens?
But this was way
This
there's
was this was and what was up with that cowlick?
yeah.
There like, it wasn't just a normal cowlick. I was like, "That who was working the hair department? Because
Yeah.
give the guy a cowlick, but not like that." Um, yeah, no, it was excessive, although I will say this, the guy who carried around, all of his little reptiles and amphibians, I enjoyed him.
Oh yeah, he had all the reptiles.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
all of a sudden, there's a lizard
Yeah,
snake coming out.
that character was okay. It was the other two. Like Revenge of the
No,
Nerds just came out a year earlier, and they
yeah,
weren't even that nerdy.
no, no, they were not. Like, this was a did you see the little, like, protractor badges
Yeah, that was
they
in the
had?
shape of I was about to say
No,
Star Wars, Star Trek, but it was made out of a protractor.
it was an actual and I think they
Yeah.
had pencils in there too, from when you would make those little circles. I was like, "This is terrible.
Yeah,
Why would you do this to these guys?"
it's like the director was screaming, "More nerd, more! Make me
Nerdier!
nerdy." Yeah, nerdier.
Nerdier!
Also, the date with Sandy is a trick when Terry tries to get Rick a date for prom, which he fails at constantly talking to other women.
Mhm.
And Sandy says she'll set Rick up with her cousin if Terry goes on a date with her. Her cousin turns out to be 11, 12. She's going into 7th grade.
I think so. I
Yeah.
think I'm not even gonna lie to you, I think I blocked out most of that because I was just like, "What?"
Then Sandy sexually assaults Terry and finds his sock in her pants. That was kind of funny when she was like, "I'm
Pulling out the
flattered."
sock was
Yeah.
funny,
Like,
but
how
that
small can
entire
it be?
well, this whole thing, I was like, "Wow, so Terry's drunk, you're manhandling her, and you just stick your hand down his pants,
As you do in the 80s.
and you pull out a sock." Then you're like, "It's okay. It's fi" I'm like, "Girl,
And you
have
wonder
some
why every
self-respect."
teenage boy in the 80s and 90s was disappointed when it didn't happen. She didn't force herself on me at all.
Yeah, she really set the standard for everybody to be disappointed.
At their okay, see, then it jumps at their senior prom, a jealous Greg picks a fight with Rick, who ultimately trounces the bully in front of the entire class. Okay, so let's back up again. This plot line skipped like half an hour here. Her getting out of gym class, starting the fire to set off the
Yeah,
sprinklers, the stomach aches, the forgetting the gym clothes. While she was doing all this and other situations that called into her getting found out and really being a woman was so slapstick like, or her facial expressions were so animated. Like it was almost she was like it felt like she was about to break the fourth wall and wink at the audience. And that
mhm.
I that kind of just it was kind of
A lot of her behaviors,
like you said, the walk
yeah,
was so
or the talking, or the,
yeah,
like, hand gestures, or the just standing there, like, doing this whole thing, and I was,
yeah,
like, with the arms out, and I was like,
like none of
"Look
the
at the
other
men
guys are
around you,
doing
none of
that.
them are doing that." So, like, that kinda stuff always took me out of it, and it almost felt like a caricature,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm like, "This is not you're supposed to be convincing people you're a guy. That doesn't convince anybody."
Like, it would have been more funny because, like, you're looking at her like this exact where she's like she's got the stomach pains, and the
Yep,
gym teacher is like, "Okay, fine, whatever, go to thing," and then she gives this look like she just got away with it, but it was so like,
everything's over the top.
yeah, but like a teacher would have saw that and went like, "What the fuck? You're faking."
Also, can we talk about her accent?
Yeah, that New Jersey-ish
Yeah, New Jersey, New
Italian
Yorkish.
mafia.
Yeah, I was like, "You're supposed to be from Phoenix, girl. What?"
Yeah.
Well, I thought California when I was watching this movie, but I was like, "Phoenix? Why do you sound like that?" Apparently, she was born in New York. So that would explain some things.
Yeah.
But still, do your generic American, like, Midwest accent.
See, I think this movie would have been way better if she did do that, did try to act more realistic,
Mhm.
didn't try to have the over exaggerated facial. Like she actually was trying to get away with it. I think I would have enjoyed it a little more.
Honestly, if the over the topness was kept to just the parts where she almost got caught,
Yeah.
I'd be down. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that moment of panic, I don't mind that being over the top, but because it was over the top through the entire thing, I just kind of rolled my eyes a lot, to be honest.
Yeah. She also hangs with Rick a bit, learns he likes James Brown. She's also juggling her boyfriend Kevin a lot, complains about everything to Denise, decides to give Rick a makeover, buying him new clothes. Um, yeah, I'm just trying to find the notes here because the plot line.
She bought him a couple new outfits
Yeah.
on her credit card.
And then the
Um,
most popular girl who is dating Greg, the bully, takes
yes.
notice of Rick, which prompts Greg to plaster spaghetti all over Rick's new clothes.
And then the girl's like, "Ugh, God,
Yeah.
Greg, you're such a jerk."
Yeah. Because this is the first time Greg's been a dick.
Yeah, apparently this is the first time she's ever seen her boyfriend be the biggest bully in school.
Yeah. But this later prompts Rick to stand up to Greg by embarrassing him in the cafeteria.
That was a great scene.
That was a good scene. Yeah. That was
I
a
will
good
give
scene.
that was a great scene.
Yeah. Then he gets the confidence to ask Deborah out because she's dumped Greg for being a bully. And I made a note. I guess she just figured that out.
Well, she didn't really dump Greg. She was just all like, "I'm tired of seeing you, like, be a jerk or be an asshole or whatever." And she walks away. And then he walks up. But the whole reason he asks her is because Terry says something like, "Anybody?" Because he's like, "Just pick one more girl out for me to ask to prom. Just one more." And she sees Deborah behind him and says, "Anybody?" Because she's figuring Deborah's Greg's girlfriend. She's gonna say no. And then he's like, "Well, Deborah." Or she's like, "Well, Deborah." And so he turns around and asks her, and then he's very confused when she says yes.
Yeah.
She has to say it like twice.
Yeah. And what else? And this makes kind of upsets Terry, who seems to be falling for Rick. And we can't
Mhm.
forget Sandy, who hasn't given up on trying to get Terry and brings Terry to Kissing Fish.
Mm. Yes.
Um, and she is in some lingerie, like she tries to seduce Terry, which I didn't find too creepy at looking at because even though she's 16 in the movie, she's like 30. No, she was 19 in the
Oh,
movie.
she was one of the younger ones, but
She was
still
one of the
legal.
younger ones.
Congratulations. You are not a super gross pedophile, you're just mildly gross. It's okay,
I
I feel the same way because when I watched, I think it's To All the Boys I've Loved Before, Peter Kavinsky, I knew the actor was, like, 26, right? And I looked up his age specifically because I felt really, really creepy crushing on this high school character. But I was like, "Oh, the actor's 26, I don't feel so bad about it." But then I started following him on Instagram, and I was like, "Kinda feel bad I was attracted to this guy. God,
You were
he's not
DMing
very
him, were you?
bright."
You didn't DM him, did you?
Oh, fuck no. Are you kidding? I don't know. This is
Like in that high
terrible to
school
say,
movie.
but I think I'm not 100% sure he can carry on a conversation. He's pretty. He's
Yeah.
real pretty. But, yeah. Anyways, that's not the point. The lingerie wasn't that bad, and she kept her skirt on, so
Yeah,
yay.
and it was funny because
Mm.
when Sandy wanted to take the fish into Terry's room, so Terry takes her into Buddy's room that's plastered with the Playboy posters. That was actually pretty good.
That was actually hey, she reads Kim reads Vonnegut.
Yeah.
I was like,
And
"Yes."
what's her name doesn't
Was
like toxic waste. No, that was pretty good. Now remember, this is all happening in a time span of just over a week.
Mhm.
It hasn't even I don't even know if it hasn't been a week because prom hasn't hit yet.
Well, they had I think it was like a week and a half before prom.
Yeah. So about a
Once
week
so
because
yeah,
prom was coming up.
and he didn't talk to Stan or she didn't talk to Sandy for the first, like, 5 days that they were at school. So I'm like,
Yeah.
"Sandy, I feel like you should be a little more discerning, my friend." Don't just give out your kissing fish to anybody.
And here's a fun fact. Rick and Deborah, who end up going to the prom together in this movie, they end up in another movie together, one we should definitely watch, April Fool's Day, a year later. They're in the same
Really?
movie. Yeah, they're two of the cast.
Oh, fantastic.
I don't know if they're the boyfriend and girlfriend in April Fool's Day or they're opposite each other, but yeah, they're in the same movie, which is kind of
We will
funny.
find out.
I remember loving that movie. I remember loving this movie too, so
Yeah, no, we got issues, yo, because I remember loving April Fool's Day too.
yeah.
Now, whether or not that actually is true, or if we've just rebuilt the memories in our head,
I
like apparently I did for this movie.
Yeah. Also, Terry convinces Denise to go to the prom as her date, and Denise actually says, like, it's really sad. You're the best date I've had in like weeks. Yeah.
That's
That was
true.
Now, at their senior prom, a jealous Greg picks a fight with Rick, who ultimately trounces the bully in front of the entire class. Okay, not before Rick gets sucker punched and Terry attacks Greg. Then Buddy, who shows up with Kevin, attacks Greg for attacking his sister.
Yeah.
For those listening, Kevin shows up, the boyfriend, the 35-year-old boyfriend, shows up to talk to Terry, the 27-year-old, 18-year-old, and then threatens Buddy, who will only tell him if he gets to go and watch, which I thought was funny. That's a typical
It is a
teen
very typical.
comedy.
Yeah.
He does it pretty
Unfortunately,
good.
I hated Buddy through this entire movie. I'm
Oh,
like, "You
did
did a
you?
great job." Oh
He-
god, yeah. I
Oh
wanted to
yeah,
punch him in the throat. He was a little shit.
Yeah, he was a total.
But I was like, "You're
jerk.
doing your job right," because I kinda hate you.
But he was like one of the really only funny
He was one of the only, this is
characters in
terrible
this
to
movie.
say, one of the funny characters, but also one of the best actors.
Yeah.
Like, it's terrible to say, but there was, like, it was him.
Well, did you notice who the one nerd was?
I noticed both of them.
The
I
one there
recognized both of
was
their faces, and one of them I knew immediately was Ari Gross, and I was like, "I know you from places."
oh
So I
he's
looked him up,
been
and I was like, "I know your face, thank you."
yeah he's been in so
Yeah,
much.
and then the other one was Epstein from Mr. Cotter,
Yeah, yeah.
who I loved watching Mr. Cotter, so I was like, "Yes."
And is it Sherry Lynn or Sherilyn Fenn?
Sherilyn Fenn.
She's done quite a bit.
Oh, yeah. She's everywhere. And then there was someone else. Well, Clayton Rohner, when I saw the character Rick, I was like, "I know your face.
Yes, yeah,
I know your face." And then
yeah.
I
He's been in
started
a few
looking it
things
up.
too.
Yep. Mr. Raymaker, seen him in a million things. Mind you,
But
I watch a lot of 80s television. So,
but Buddy was in Parker Lewis Can't Lose.
yes.
So
And
yeah, and
also
he
quite
was
a few
actually
episodes of Murder, She Wrote.
he was in actually quite a few things in the 80s
Yeah. So
and
he
early
worked fairly
90s.
steadily, but he was honestly one of the few bright spots. Denise was another one.
Yeah,
Denise was a bright spot, but for the most part, the acting, like a lot of the secondary characters were so much better
yeah. Because
than the main
what's her
characters.
name? Joyce Heiser was fine as Terry the girl,
Yes.
but as Terry the guy, not so much.
But even as Terry the girl, there was almost, I don't want to say this, but almost like a vacancy to her. Like where
Yeah,
it just seemed like she was repeating lines. I was like, "I don't feel like you're engaged in this." And it made me sad. I'm like, maybe you do that to differentiate between girl Terry and boy Terry, but all it came off as is, I don't know how to act. And I know that's not true.
yeah. Because she's been in a couple things.
Yeah, she's had work. So I was like, "You're not like super shitty. Why are you doing this in this movie?"
When Terry's boyfriend shows up unexpectedly and discovers the ruse, Rick assumes that Terry's big secret was that she was gay. To prove otherwise, Terry opens her shirt and reveals her breast to Rick. See, when it threw me off, because I remembered there were titties in this movie, not just
Yeah.
fucking Playboy ones. And then the PG thing, I'm like, oh, I must be Wrong. But I
Yeah.
was not. There they were. Although she admits loving him, Rick rejects her, prompting a desperate Terry to kiss him in front of everyone.
Mm.
To placate the awestruck students, Rick uh, announces that Terry has tits before leaving the prom and Terry behind. He said, "Yeah, don't worry, everyone. He's got tits."
Yes. Which apparently is supposed to explain everything.
Yeah, I think that would just make everyone more confused.
Well, especially if that's all you're saying. It's like you
Yeah,
just saw two
and
guys
in
kiss and then don't
1985.
worry. Yeah, 1985 especially. This was not the time. It was a very, very homophobic, anti-LGBTQ plus era.
Heartbroken and humiliated, Terry retreats to her room and writes a long article on what it's like to be a girl in boys' clothing, detailing all of her experience, both good and bad. I did enjoy her writing. I
Mhm.
think all women should write in a pink, tight
Tank top.
tank top and lacy panties.
Of course. I know whenever I do my writing, that's exactly what I wear.
And when it shifted over to that typewriter,
Yes.
that completely I was kind of just in the moment of the movie or whatever, but as soon as she was on that typewriter, I was like, whoa, that kind of like threw me off a bit. It
Well,
was
it's
a
funny because
big ass loud typewriter.
I used to share a room with my sister. Um, and so she was in high school, I was in elementary school, and she used a typewriter, obviously, to type up her essays, and so she graduated from high school in '89. So all through her high school career, there was a typewriter. Eventually, she got one of those fancy ones that was like a digital typewriter where you typed everything out first,
See, I
and then
had
it
one of
like
those.
yeah.
I didn't before I got a computer. I had one of those.
Yeah, she had one of those, we upgraded to that, and then by the time I was, I think, 13 or 14? No, actually, probably 12, because my brother was in university, and somehow he conned my parents into buying a computer. So I managed to have a computer in the house by the time I was, like, 12, 13, which was amazing, and I still own that computer desk. We don't own the
Oh, I thought you were
computer
gonna say the
anymore.
computer.
No, we don't own the computer anymore, but I do still have some floppy disks running around somewhere. Oh god, this is terrible. But anyways, the typewriter, there was nothing about this movie that felt current.
No.
So the typewriter didn't throw me out of it. It still felt very retro and vintage. However, if she really is from a wealthy family, they would have had a better typewriter.
Yeah.
I feel like that one wasn't fancy enough.
No, it looked. Yeah. No. Yeah, it looked like an older. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um. Terry returns to her own school. When her article is printed in the newspaper, she receives high praise and finally earns her dream job at the newspaper. Nevertheless, she still finds herself yearning for Rick, who has not spoken to her since prom. One day during the summer, Rick suddenly turns up after reading her article. Realizing their true feelings for each other, they reconcile and make plans for another date. They decide to go for a drive in Terry's car, but before Buddy can join them, Buddy was there too. An attractive blonde on a motorcycle rides up, beckons to him with a smile. Buddy then climbs onto the back of her motorcycle, and both couples happily drive away. Terry actually throws her arms up like, my 16 brother's being taken away by this 45-year-old pedophile. Fuck yeah. And
There's a lot of weird in this movie.
this scene made no sense. None.
None whatsoever.
Never mind, does Terry and Rick make it long term? Do they get married? Does she become a journalist? No. Do we ever see Buddy again? Does he end up on a milk cart?
He ends up on a milk carton, my friends. They don't understand where he went. They just know that he went off into the sunset on a motorcycle with
Yeah.
a 45-year-old woman
That was the most
who looked 45.
Yeah, she looked 45.
She looked like that wasn't, no offense, old lady. This 42-year-old is saying that was no. And why the kid was barely 16.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
he
don't
was
even know if he
16 years
actually
old.
had his driver's license. He was driving, but I don't know if he had his license. But I'm like, why are you picking up your sister at work?
Yeah. That
Is
just
that
goes, yeah.
your car?
Yeah.
Family car? Her car?
she all of a sudden let him drive it. And then it shows you the double standard even then, or more so
Oh,
then.
yeah.
Could you imagine if you were in the theater in 1985 and Buddy was a 16-year-old sister got on the back of a bike of like a 45-year-old man? You'd be like, what the fuck?
No, that would have been super, like, everybody would have been like, "Ew, it's so gross."
Yeah, you'd be outraged. But an underage boy being sexually molested by a 45-year-old woman is
Totally
funny.
okay.
I mean, I get it. It is funny. It's just weird.
There's yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Like, don't get me wrong, it's definitely a buddy thing. Like, it follows through with the character.
Yes.
So you're like, okay, I get why the character's doing it. It's still gross. We can still think it's gross, but still think it's very in character.
Yeah, and that's the movie.
Yep, that's
So,
it.
what was your score of this movie?
I think I'm gonna surprise you, my friends.
Oh, you're gonna say like 8.
No, no. I'm okay. I'm gonna say 4.8. Now, here's why. It's heavy on the nostalgia for me. So the clothing, the outfits, the 80s-ness of it gave me the warm and fuzzies. So that's why it was leaning towards 5. However, this movie is awful. It is terrible. It had a plot, and then
Yep.
it lost the plot, literally,
Yeah.
and it just kept going, and I'm like, "But the no, guys, you went off course, and you just kept going, and you're like, 'We're gonna end up somewhere, it's fine.'"
Yeah,
So,
literally
yeah.
just start a new plot.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just started a whole new thing. Well, now I'm gonna pivot, and now I'm gonna write a new article and still submit it here, but I'm gonna continue to pretend to be a boy,
So
who I
you're
don't know how they
almost
registered for school.
for a week.
Yeah,
Or 2
right?
weeks, whatever it was, yeah.
2 weeks, I'm gonna register to a new high school.
And not to mention the lates and absences at the other school.
I'm like, "Come on, guys. This don't make no sense." So, yeah, 4.8 because it was an
4.8.
awful movie, but it did have a lot of nostalgia and a
Yeah.
lot of, like, warm fuzzies for me. What about you?
Yeah, mine, I wrote, just one of the guys is a pretty by the numbers 80s comedy with no real outstanding parts to it. I recognized and loved a lot of the actors like Joyce Heiser, Billy Jane. I think he had a different name at this time. William Zabka, Sherilyn Fenn, Clayton Rauner, Tony Hudson, Deborah Goodrich, even Ari Gross and the I can't remember the lizard dude.
Stuart Tarno.
Yes. And they had all of them seem to have really steady careers. A couple of them more
Yeah.
than some, but the dialogue or the script was pretty subpar. The directing took it from funny high school movie to slapstick to ridiculousness, and none of it in a very good way. The nostalgia helped, kind of like what you said. The nostalgia really helped. I could see why I liked it back then. Joyce Heiser's boobies.
They were nice boobies.
They were nice. This falls right into where like Weekend at Bernie's, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, Mannequin. I might watch this again because of that nostalgia. I didn't hate watching it, but it wasn't even like meh. I can see why I liked it back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I give it a 4.
This movie makes me wanna see She's the Man to see this trope being done properly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been years since I've watched it, but I'm like, I remember it doing it better than this because this is not but I'm like, but the '80s." Um, also, we should also watch, Girls Just Wanna Have Fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that was funny too. No, this movie was I'll always look back on this movie fondly, even though I
Mhm.
gave it a 4, because I liked it when I was a kid. But when looking at it, like I had to compare it to the comedies we've watched doing this. Just Friends, Role Models, American Pie 2. Those actually made me laugh out loud. This movie did not.
This movie just made me smile a couple times.
A couple times, maybe a one or two
A little chuckle.
chuckle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of it was smirks and
Yeah.
Yeah. There has to be a great because we're not having comedy wise, we're not having any luck in the 80s, even the 90s.
Honestly, it's really starting to hurt my feelings.
Yeah, like they gotta be out there somewhere in the
They
80s or
have
90s.
to
We'll
be.
find them, but we have not found them
We will wade through all the duds to get to the funny 80s movies.
because we went Encino Man,
Yeah.
Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, Mannequin, Weekend at Bernie's, which even though I scored very low, they still have a place in my heart for nostalgia
Oh,
wise.
of course.
But yeah, they're not where Role Models and American Pie 2, I
I
laughed
laughed.
out loud to those. So
Yeah.
yeah, we gotta
We
find better
gotta we gotta f
comedies.
we gotta find the laughing comedies from the 80s, not just the, "Oh, this is memories."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like going these movies, the mannequins and just one of the guys are like going through photo albums where you
Yes.
smile at something you remember, and
You're like,
yeah,
"Oh, that's great," but you
yeah,
don't necessarily wanna experience that again,
yeah,
whereas there are eventually some, like, home videos where you're like, "We should go there again," or "We should
yeah.
do that again."
Or you're laughing your ass off because
Yeah.
your dad caught your brother getting a ball to the nuts, and you're laughing out loud. Now that's funny.
That is funny. I don't uh, nut shots are always hilarious to
Yeah, they're
me,
always
no
very
matter
good.
what the movie or what
Uh,
circumstance.
why I liked it then, it was funny to me as a kid. It was believable that all of that life-altering things could happen in just over a week. It
Mhm.
had boobies. Buddy the brother was funny, especially to me as a kid. Um, yeah, that's why I would have liked it then. Why would you have liked it then?
I was raised on soap operas. So over the top stories and people doing exceptionally dramatic things that didn't need to be done was commonplace for me. I expected that.
Yeah, so this is like
Also,
that with humor.
when I was younger, like my sister and my brother are both much older than me. So my sister's like 10 years older than me, my brother's 8 years older than me. So when I was watching this, my siblings were teens and I wanted to be one of the cool kids, and this movie was filled with cool kids wearing all the cute outfits, all the great stuff. So that was why I think I just wanted to feel more connected to, like, teenage coolness, and there was a lot of that in this. Thank you, Terry Griffith, because some of the ensembles, I was like, "Girl, that's cute." I could pull that off now. So,
Um,
yeah.
if you liked it then, me personally, I would tell you to stream it. This is not worth a rental unless you find it on Apple for 99 cents. Like, and do not buy it.
No, don't buy it
There are people who would argue this, but those people probably own Weekend at Bernie's and Mannequin and
and watch them every week.
yeah. What about you? If for people that liked it then,
If you can stream it for free, stream it.
yeah,
I probably wouldn't pay money for it unless it is, like you said, like a 99 cents or even a $2 rental.
yeah,
I'm like, yeah. Or if it's a $2 purchase, by all means, purchase. Then every
yeah,
time a new
yeah.
friend comes over, you can scroll through it and be like, "See that movie? That movie was shit. Wanna watch it?" You can bond. Um, yeah, I wouldn't this is not a classic.
No,
This is not something you can watch over and over and over again, and it brings you joy every single time.
no.
It's a little disappointing.
If you've never seen it, if you're into 80s teen comedies, like you've seen 16 Candles, Revenge of the Nerds, Breakfast Club, and you want more, this is not better. This is not as good
Mm,
as far as I can remember, but you might get a kick out of it. Like again, stream it, don't rent it. Again, if
yeah.
unless it's like 99 cents. But if you've never seen it, I'd definitely stream it.
Yeah, I wouldn't don't pay money. Like, don't invest in this.
No,
That's the better term for it. Don't invest. But I mean, if you've got a couple hours and, it's on a streaming service you already have, sure, why not? Do it while you're, folding your laundry or whatever. But this is not a hunker down, pay attention. You're gonna laugh movie.
no. Could it be rebooted today?
Yes.
I think they've already done it, like, between, like, White Chicks, The Hot Chick, She's the Man, Sorority Boys, which I remember being hilarious.
I don't think I've
Um,
seen Sorority Boys.
that guy who played Lex Luthor in the
Michael
Smallville
Rosenbaum?
show. Yeah.
I love him in general. So maybe I'll watch it. But yeah, no, She's the Man,
Yeah.
almost identical. Where sexism is actually the topic of conversation through the entire movie. It's fine. But yeah, no, they've done this kind of the spirit of this movie over and over and over again. It is definitely able. I think you could definitely remake this specifically where it's about a teenage girl who's wanting to be a journalist and is being discouraged by her teachers, and having the conversations be more tinged with sexism.
Mhm.
So it makes sense that she goes to another school, or she becomes the transfer student at her school, whatever, as a boy or whatever. So I think you can definitely do it, keeping with the journalism, sexism rant.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, that was disappointing.
So disappointing. I had high hopes for this one.
All right. Yeah. So let me do the podcast thing. Thank you for listening to I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Just one of the guys. Yeah, join us next week for hopefully a better movie. Okay, so now we will take a break. This thing says 10 minutes. I will. It's only on for 3.
Okay.
Because I can't find the other one, and then we'll come back.
Cool.
Take you on.
Hurry, hurry, hurry. Step right over to our refreshment center for the most extravagant array of refreshment goodies ever assembled under one roof. Enjoy breathtaking, mouth-watering goodies, everything from a snack to a delicious full meal. At our refreshment center, you'll find a large variety of your hunger, your thirst, or your sweet tooth. So hurry, hurry, hurry. Visit our refreshment center now. The show starts in 10 minutes. The show starts in 9 minutes. The show starts in 8 minutes. The show starts in 7 minutes.
And now, on with the show.
Ba-ba-ba-bum. I love those old drive-in.
Those are great. It makes me so sad that we don't have more of that.
Okay, I just have to add these. I apologize. I was actually trying to do it while it was on. That's why it popped up.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't do that. I think I did that last week too.
Ah, well, it happens.
Um, all right. Welcome back. Okay, so we reviewed, now we preview. And we are going to preview House of Wax. That's the Blu-ray, obviously.
Yeah.
2005. Which is not a lot different than the movie poster. Hot, sexy, deliciously creepy horror. Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah. I got more excited about this movie. Okay, let's get in a 2005 type of mood before we get into the movie.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go back to 2005. We're gonna
I'm
do
ready.
some headlines and some fashion from 2005. There's some good fashion from fucking 2005. Ugh. But news headlines, and like I said, unless it's really funny and tragic, I don't put stuff that'll bring us down. Like I'm not putting in
Yeah.
massacres and tornado killings and so on May 10th, 2005, a hand grenade thrown by Vladimir Aratonian lands
Sure.
about 65 feet, 20 meters from U.S. President George W. Bush while giving a speech to a crowd in Tbilisi, Georgia. It malfunctions and does not detonate. I thought that was funny.
I'm sorry, Vladimir.
Yeah.
That's got to be disappointing.
He's like, ah, shit. May 15th, Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Now, the reason I put this in, directed by George Lucas, starring, it premiered at the Cannes Film Festival. Is the Cannes Film Festival for indie films or films being sold?
It is for films being sold, but it's also become over the last probably, I'd say 20 years, 25, it has become a place to premiere your films.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it's become like if you have something that you're looking for global distribution, so you may have like domestic distribution on lockdown, but now you need international,
Hmm.
that you would go to Cannes.
May 27th, DreamWorks releases computer animated film Madagascar,
Mhm.
which started a whole Madagascar. I like those movies. They're all right. Gordon Ramsay first appears on U.S. television May 30th, 2005 in a cooking competition show called Hell's Kitchen.
I watched that first season.
Did you?
Yeah.
I think, I don't know if I watched the first, but I remember, I must have watched a few of it because I remember not following it, but I remember catching episodes here and there.
This was another confirming thing about how not everybody is used to someone talking to you like that. Because I'm
Yeah.
like, he just told you your food was shit. If your food is shit, your food is shit. Like, why are you getting emotional about it? And then
Yeah.
I realized, oh, you didn't grow up with a mother who was totally like, this is shit, do it again. I'm like, that's not normal for everybody. Whoops.
I don't even know if a show would fly today.
Oh, it's still on the air.
Holy shit, it's still
The
on the
new
air?
season is about to come out.
Oh my God. Is he more woke?
No, he's still I don't know if he's calling people idiot sandwiches anymore.
Oh, I hope
They
so.
may have more crying time put aside for people.
The show was great for that, him just going off on people, and you could tell it wasn't stick, it wasn't rehearsed. He was
No.
serious about what he did, and if you didn't at least appear to be, he just fucking unloaded on you.
Apparently, that's the way he talks to his staff in his kitchens.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't even like, I know kitchens in the, like, food industry in general is super abusive just in general. And that's why all, like, servers, cooks, chefs, bartenders, they're all forged in steel.
Did,
'Cause
did
you
you
don't even
watch
realize
the
your
menu?
death threats tonight. Whatever, it's fine.
Did you watch the movie with Ralph Fiennes, the menu
Not yet.
with Anya Taylor-Joy and Nicholas Hoult?
I have wanted to watch it. I
It's
haven't.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's not a comedy. It says it's a
No.
comedy. I mean, it has some humorous parts, but it's definitely not a
I
comedy.
feel
But
like
it
it's
is a great movie.
definitely a dark comedy, but it's one of those things where you need to pay attention,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I just haven't been in the right headspace.
May 31st, 2005, Mark Felt, former FBI high-ranking official, revealed as the Deep Throat source during Watergate investigations in Vanity Fair article. So he was, yeah, we finally
Yeah,
found out who Deep Throat was in May 31st, 2005.
amazing.
American actor Roman Holiday, Green Acres, dies of pneumonia at 99. He almost made 100. What a
Were you gonna add his name at some point?
Roman Holiday?
Yeah,
What was
exactly.
his actual name?
Hold on, I'm getting there. I'm getting
Yeah,
there. His actual name,
Eddie Albert?
I think it was Eddie Albert.
Yeah,
Eddie Albert, yeah.
yeah, Eddie Albert. Yeah, Roman Holiday was his character from Green Acres. As soon as you said that, I'm like, oh yeah, that was his name. I obviously was never around, but I remember Green Acres. A lot of shows were on in the afternoons on
Yep.
cable. Yeah, and Green Acres was one of those that I would catch every now and again.
Green Acres, used to watch all the time. I also watched
Petticoat
him on Roman Holiday.
Junction.
After school on Much Music, they used to play the Monkees.
Yeah, I remember the
And
Monkeys after school.
oh god, what was it with Shirley
Gilligan's
Jones?
Islands.
Gilligan's Island,
Island.
and then what was the movie about the singing family? The Partridge Family.
Partridge Family. Yeah.
Yeah. Used to watch the crap out of that.
And then that's where I caught up with like Facts of Life and Different Strokes and Three's Company.
Oh god, Three's
I think
Company.
Three's Company was more after work at like 2 o'clock in the morning on TBS or something like that.
See, I think I used to watch it in the evenings.
Yeah, it was on all the time.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember, but
All right, fashion trends. This is thanks to Time Out magazine. Juicy tracksuits. Because you're not a regular mom, you're a cool mom.
those are back in style.
Of course
With
they
the
are.
juicy across the ass. I was never a fan of writing on my ass because I was like, no. And it was everywhere, and it was almost impossible to buy track pants in the mid 2000s because
Without
people were
something, yeah.
without something written across your ass.
Juicy was popular. Princess,
Pink.
pink.
Everybody was wearing pink. I was like, can we get like a pink sweatshirt that doesn't have pink in ginormous letters on it? No, we couldn't. That was the answer to that question. I refused to have juicy written on it. Thank God. I think it was Smart Set, the store that is now defunct. They had a velour tracksuit that didn't have any writing on it. I lived in that thing. Lived in it.
Cargo pants were big. You're especially cool if you had the ones with zip off legs.
Sweetie, that's only for Northern Ontario. Southern Ontario, we did not want to zip off our pant legs.
No.
However, if you had like the pull strings where
Yeah.
you could like that was cool. These are terrible in general.
Skinny jeans. They were huge in 2005. The crotch hugging style became ubiquitous in 2005 and still has not gone away.
They're trying to get away from skinny jeans, and they're trying to say it's an old people thing. However, the jeans that they're introducing now, a lot of people are like, no, thank you.
Uggs, as in winter Crocs.
I do think Uggs are incredibly ugly.
They
However,
they are comfy though.
they can be very comfy. They're also just easy to wear. Like if you're running to the store or something, like you don't have to put on socks. You
But they're
can tuck
not
your
good for
pants.
slush and
No,
salt.
but that's why I buy like the $20 version.
Yeah.
That's a knockoff. I'm not paying $400 for basically just ugly socks. No.
Western shirts with pearl snaps. Thanks, Jack White.
This is
They
terrible.
did go away.
I bought a shirt like this. It was a couple years. before 2005, but I bought a shirt like this. And I went in to work at a production distribution company place, and my immediate superior was wearing a shirt like this. Now, I had bought my shirt for a costume.
Oh,
Had a
was it
little
like the
cowboy
exact
hat.
same
I was like
shirt?
a sheriff. She was wearing the exact same shirt. And I just looked at her and went, I have that shirt. She's like, "Oh my god, really?" I was like, "Yeah, I wore it for a costume a couple of years ago." Yeah, I didn't work there for very long.
Layered polos. How this ever went out of fashion is beyond us, bruh.
I never understood this, and it
I
always
never got this. I remember this very, and it didn't last very long.
No, thank
Thing.
God.
I should have been more of a bully because this was stupid.
That was, like, the
Even back
biggest red
then.
flag. If
Like,
you met a guy and he was wearing 4 polo shirts with the collars popped, run. Run. Oh, that's so creepy.
how? Just the heat alone.
You cannot be
Or
comfortable in that. You
no
cannot.
silicone cause bracelets because the only thing more important than donating to charity is making sure everyone knows you donated to charity. That
Oh
yeah,
my
I do
goodness.
remember those. I never wore them.
No, I got them every time I donated
Yeah,
to
every time you
anything
put
or,
some money into something, yeah, they give you a
if there
bracelet,
was
but
yeah, no.
I would never wear boho chic, also known as designer hobo by Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen.
I kinda loved boho chic.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
I couldn't wear it that often though, because then I would be confused with the people who were very boho chic, and they were not always the most, I don't want to say the most,
Hygienic?
the most emotionally steady.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yes,
So,
that's
I was like, while I enjoy a good peasant blouse,
yeah.
mayhaps a crochet sweater, I'm gonna hold off, thanks.
Now let's go to the music. We still have to. We have to figure a way of.
I
Oh, the
don't
poor cat over here. His hunting ground's been closed. We have to figure a way of how to. I'm wondering if I play it.
I think if you play it for, like, only a certain amount of time, like,
Now,
not
see,
a
I
lot.
did that, and I tried sevens, but see, I got the clips from YouTube, and
Uh,
I'm wondering if I play the clips from like a stereo behind me. That's just it's not computer connected, but
I don't know. I doubt it, though.
because I like listening to the number 10. One thing, Amiri.
I love Mary. Um, I love that song.
I don't I see, and some of these I'm like, a lot of them I do. I'm like, I
Oh,
don't know it until I hear it, and I'm like, oh yes, I do. Obsession by Frankie J
love
featuring
that
Baby Bash.
song.
Speed of Sound, Coldplay
I
was number
hate
8.
Coldplay. I hate Coldplay with such a fiery passion.
A lot of people do.
I hate them so much.
Someone's got to like them. They're always on the charts. Lonely No More, Rob Thomas.
I'm not really that crazy about Rob Thomas, but that's because he makes weird faces when he's singing.
Since You've Been Gone by Kelly Clarkson.
A classic.
Yeah, that's I can hear it in my head now.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, that's a great track.
Sierra featuring Ludacris.
That is, like, the greatest club track ever.
Lonely. Oh, we
L
had remember this?
Akon is magic. Yes.
Yeah. Number 3, Candy Shop, 50 Cent
Also,
featuring Olivia.
so great, so great. So easy to pick up guys with that song.
Number 2, Hate It or Love It, The Game featuring 50 Cent. 50
I
Cent's
was
on
I
number
was
2
never a
and
big
3.
fan of The
The
Game.
Game. He had a couple songs that were
Yeah,
yeah. And number 1, Hollaback Girl, Gwen Stefani.
classic.
Yeah,
Classic.
I can hear it beating in my head
Yeah.
now. Go away, Gwen Stefani, before it gets stuck in there.
That was the great song that every girl played after she got played by a guy.
Yeah.
And then you were like, "Look at me and be independent and great." And then the guy would call and my friends would fold and I'd be like, "God damn it, we just played Holla Back Girl like 4 times."
All right, let's go to the box office of 2005, May 6th. House of Wax opened at number 2. It had a budget of 40 million. Seems like a lot for a horror
Mm,
movie. It opened at 12, just over 12 million. It finished domestic with 32, international with 36, and made 68 million. Now, I read that between the budget, marketing, and everything else, it didn't quite make its money back in the theaters. But 2005 was also very much Blockbuster was alive,
yep.
and it made a profit by the time it hit. It hit DVD sales and rentals. The number one movie was Kingdom of Heaven.
Oh shit!
I
I forgot this movie
remember
existed.
I remember not hating the movie, but not I didn't really love the movie. And then I was told that a director's cut has now come out, I
Mm,
think a few years ago, that makes the movie 100 times better.
I don't think I
Uh,
actually had
Watched it?
any desire to watch this.
No, from what I remember, it was kind of boring and a little confusing. And then
Yeah,
that's number 3 was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which I remember liking.
I remember liking that one too.
Yeah. Number 4 is Crash. I think that won the Academy Award, didn't it?
Wait, this is the racism crash, right?
Yes.
Okay, because then there's the
This is the one with the
erotic
5
car
different.
crash.
Oh, yeah, no, this is the one
Yeah,
with the 5 different
okay.
stories, and I think this won
Yes.
the Academy Award, and I don't think it should have. It
No, it
wasn't
should
a
not have.
bad movie. It wasn't a
No,
great movie.
it wasn't a bad movie, but this was definitely it felt very performative.
Yeah. The Interpreter, which I do not remember at all. I kind of remember it, but I most likely have seen it, but I don't remember it.
I watched part of it, and I was not that crazy about it.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably State of the Union, Triple X State of the Union. Was the one where Vin Diesel did not come back and they used Ice Cube. I actually remember liking this movie.
I like Ice Cube and a lot of stuff.
That's what I mean. I like
Mm.
Ice Cube, and I thought this one was good.
I'm pretty sure I liked that one.
Sahara, which I remember liking, was number
I did not
7.
see it.
Really?
Yeah, no.
With
Matthew McConaughey?
Matthew McConaughey and Steve
That's
Zahn.
probably why I didn't watch it.
You don't like Matthew McConaughey?
No, not
Oh,
really.
he's awesome.
No.
Amityville Horror, which I remember thinking was awesome with really? What's his name?
Isn't this the one
Deadpool.
with Ryan Reynolds?
Ryan
Yeah.
Reynolds, yes. I remember this being
I
really good.
loved this movie, and I don't know if it's just because Ryan Reynolds is a sexy motherfucker or if the movie was actually
That's why I'm
good.
thinking I liked it.
Well, there's one scene where he's, like, chopping wood or
Chopping. I was
something,
just thinking,
all
yeah, chopping
topless,
wood.
like, wearing pajama pants, and I was like, "Hot damn."
But yeah, I remember this movie being good. I have not
I
seen this movie
remember
in
it
a
being good, but
long time.
oh my god, me too. Can we watch it?
Yeah. Number 9, I A Lot Like Love with Amanda Peet and Kelso, Ashton
Ashton
Kutcher.
Kutcher?
I don't remember this movie either.
I
I
don't remember it.
know it sounds familiar, and yeah,
I know Ashton Kutcher did quite a few, romantic
romantic.
comedies.
Yeah. And then Fever Pitch. Again, I
Oh,
do remember this movie, and it was okay. I don't
it was
remember it being
okay.
that great, but it was okay.
It's a cute standard rom-com.
Yeah.
Jimmy Fallon shouldn't be acting, but it was a cute standard rom-com.
And this week, in 2005, May 6th, that week, if you wanted to make it a blockbuster night, you could rent the new movie National Treasure out on DVD or Phantom of the Opera. I
I've
don't think
watched
I watched Phantom of the Opera movie.
I did.
I've gone to the theater and watched
Yeah.
the play,
No.
but I don't think I've watched this movie, which
I
is
watched
weird.
that movie, multiple times. Strangely. Very good. Very good. I was not expecting that much, and I was like, "Oh, you guys didn't suck. This is amazing." Also, National Treasure is one of my favorite movies,
Yeah, I
and
like
I will
National
watch it
Treasure.
every day, all day.
And then they did a TV show, but they didn't
Yes.
put Nicolas Cage in it.
Well, they were going to put him in, but they canceled it.
Yeah. I
It's
love
very
Nicolas
upsetting.
Cage. The number 1, 2, and 3, and 4 rated shows was in order: Desperate Housewives, American Idol, and
Mhm.
American Idol held the 2 and 3, and CSI, the regular CSI
OG
in
CSI.
2005.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
I
only
did
thing
not
I
watch Desperate Housewives. I did watch. I mean, me and my friends would watch American Idol,
Auditions?
The auditions. Yeah. And she had,
That's why I didn't watch American Idol. I hated the auditions. It made me so uncomfortable, and it made me wanna cry.
I actually now that because I
Yeah,
remember
can't do
because
it.
you didn't like Just Friends.
Yeah, nope, can't do it. The, American Idol ruined me because 'cause I'm like, You don't have friends, and now I have to watch you sing really badly in front of musical professionals on international television. I can't. The amount of pain I feel for you is too much. So I can't watch American Idol. I can watch The Voice auditions, though, because they audition before they go to audition, so everybody who sings can actually sing, and I feel better about myself. Yeah,
All right, so that's 2005 in a nutshell. Which means
in a nutshell.
we could go to the tail of the tape. And House of Wax is a 2005 horror film rated R for horror, violence, some sexual content, and language, and comes at a kind of beefy 1 hour and 53 minutes.
Especially for a horror movie.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not, doesn't mean it's bad.
No.
Taglines: Pray, slay, display.
Love it, love it.
Yeah, that's the one that's on the poster. On May 6th, see Paris die.
That's why most people went to go watch it.
The flesh is weak, wax is forever.
Interesting.
There's a reason they look so real.
Ooh, creepy.
Yeah.
That's
Those were
good.
pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
The synopsis: a gang of college friends, including Wade, Jared Padalecki, and his girlfriend, Carly, Elisha Cuthbert, are en route to a school football game when they wind up with a flat tire in a ghost town. They are forced to seek help in the only place that's open, the local wax museum. That should be your first red flag.
Mhm.
Once inside the spooky and seemingly abandoned building, they find the works on display are not quite what they seem, and the group soon discover it's being hunted by the insane twin brothers who run the museum.
Mm.
Let's take a look at the poster. A better look. It's cool.
It's very cool.
For everyone listening, everyone's name who's starring is up top. There is a wax female that's kind of melting, and then it's Pray, Slay, Display, House of Wax, May 6th. Yeah, it is pretty cool.
It's a great poster. It's nice, it's creepy.
Okay, so let's go into some House of Wax stuff.
Nice.
Jared Padalecki is 1 foot taller than co-star Elisha Cuthbert. To make herself appear taller in scenes where she and Padalecki would be filmed together, Cuthbert taped 2-inch blocks of wood to the bottom of her boots. This was only done during scenes where they would be shot from the knee and up. So yeah, whole foot.
Well, no, because Jared Padalecki's like 6'3", I think, or 6'4".
Yeah. So she's
he is
5'3".
But that's actually something that they used to talk about when he was on Supernatural. Jensen Ackles is 6'1", but because or 6 foot. So because he's standing next to Jared Padalecki, everybody just assumed he was like 5'10"
Yeah.
or 5'8" because they're like, "Oh no, you're super short." And then they meet him and they're like, "Wow, you're so much taller." He's like, "Yeah, because I'm standing next to the giant."
Yeah. The moose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Jared Padalecki and Paris Hilton later appear in an episode of Supernatural, together also centered around a wax museum. There's even a reference to this movie in the episode.
Yeah, it's a good episode.
I don't remember that episode. I haven't. There's a lot of
It's a lot of
Supernatural
fun.
episodes.
There's a fight between the guys and Gandhi. It's kind of amazing.
Paris Hilton was actually the first to be cast for this film. The cast was then built around her.
That makes sense.
Though the film takes place in Louisiana, USA, the film was actually shot in Australia. The town of Ambrose was constructed in 10 weeks and was modeled after a real town in, Jesus Christ, Etria called.
Asmara?
Basically, they built this town from
Yes.
scratch. Director, I want to
Jean
say
Collet
Jean
Serra.
Collet insisted that practical effects be used as much as possible for the film. Visual effects were used when necessary, which were used sparingly.
Which explains the budget.
Jennifer Connelly and Kate Winslet both turned down the role of Paige. Connelly decided instead to star in Dark Water, also a horror film in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if that was a good movie or not.
I don't think I've watched it yet.
The film is one of 3 major horror remakes released in 2005. The other 2 films were The Fog and Amityville Horror, which I remember liking both those.
Same.
Elisha Cuthbert, a natural blonde, dyed her hair brown for the film to contrast with blonde Paris Hilton. Ironically, Hilton herself is a natural brunette.
Yeah.
The film was nominated for 3 Razzies, including the Worst Picture, Worst Supporting Actress, Paris Hilton, and Worst Remake or Sequel. The film lost Worst Picture to Dirty Love and Worst Remake or Sequel to Son of the Mask. Oh, that was a horrible movie.
I've never seen that.
But Paris Hilton won Worst Supporting Actress.
Amazing. Good for her.
On the flip side, the film was nominated for 4 Teen Choice Awards, including Best Horror Film, Best Actor, Chad Michael Murray, Best Actress, Elisha Cuthbert, and Best Scream Scene of the Year for Paris Hilton. It won Best Horror Film, Best Actor for Action Adventure Thriller for Chad Michael Murray, and Best Scream Scene of the Year for Paris Hilton.
Alicia didn't get it.
No.
That's upsetting. She didn't get the surfboard.
No. So let's go to Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm ready. Let's do this.
161 critic reviews has it at 27%.
Jiminy Crickets, that's low.
But 250,000 audience reviews has it at 65%. The critics' consensus bearing little resemblance to the 1953 original, House of Wax is formulaic, but better than average teen slasher flick.
Interesting.
Some of the fresh is, although it's filled with stupid characters who make basic horror movie mistakes, they take the detour, accept a ride from a stranger, investigate the creepy town, etc. It also has a way of getting under skin. While House of Wax certainly delivers what it promises, the film only half works for me because I'm more invested in the aesthetics than the actors. Still, for a big budget studio effort, it's certainly watchable.
High praise.
What the film lacks in smarts, it more than makes up for with stellar production design. That $40 million budget went far, and some truly nasty slasher shenanigans. Not just fun and funny, don't forget Paris Hilton's in it, but it's also surprisingly frightening. Makes up for its idiot plot with a gallon of gore.
Tell us how you really feel.
These are all the good ones.
I know.
As far as gory, twisted, sharp, stick through the fucking head slasher flicks go, the new House of Wax ain't too shabby.
Love it.
Those were the good ones. These are the rotten ones. Director Jean Serres feature film debut is chock full of everything a director shouldn't do in a film. Apparent kills are left unverified, handy firearms are left untouched, and the group splits up a record 4 times, ensuring most of these dolts will never see the dawn. We'll always have Paris, but for almost an hour we endure these dumb children bickering, wandering aimlessly, insulting local hayseeds, and not having sex. That's hot. I'm
That
pretty
was
sure
Paris
that's sarcasm.
No, that was Paris Hilton's catchphrase. When she was on The
right,
Simple
yeah.
Life, everything was that's hot.
That's hot.
But she did it like deadpan. Also, I'd like to point this out that the director, I have been saying his name with a French accent. His
Yeah,
name
he's
is
Spanish,
not
isn't he?
French. He's Spanish American. So I don't know if you would call it home. Colette Serra. Just thought I'd add that in there. I want to correct that. He was born in Spain. So
Yes,
he's
not
Spanish.
French. He's Spanish. Yeah, Spanish. If you've seen one horror movie, you'll always be several steps ahead of everyone in House of Wax. The 1933 and 1953 versions are available on a single DVD for slightly less than the price of 2 evening movie tickets. Am I making myself clear? Most alarming, the movie leaves. You gotta remember, there's 163, so I had to filter a lot. So
yeah.
Most alarming, the movie leaves open the possibility of a sequel. Not to focus too much on Paris Hilton, but she brings an art to bad acting.
True.
Meanwhile, the audience wonders when Paris Hilton will be eviscerated for their enjoyment.
Also true.
And then Roger Ebert. Now, this is he gave it a bad review, but House of Wax is not a good movie, but it is an efficient one and will deliver most of what anyone attending House of Wax could reasonably expect, assuming it would be unreasonable to expect very much. IMDb. 129,000 user ratings, 5.4, which is
a little on the low side, but still pretty standard for horror films.
For horror. So I go from 10 to 6 for positive reviews. The best kind of guilty pleasure, 10. Come for Paris Hilton, stay for the surprisingly good movie, 9. Surprisingly violent and lots of fun, 8. Beautifully twisted, satisfyingly gross, 7. I expected a lot worse, 6.
I like that one.
Now, admit it, you wanted to see Paris die too, 5. Incredible death scenes, but that's about it, 4. Could have been called The House of Snores, 3.
Ooh.
Almost as good as being hit by a car, 2. And 1 out of 10, what a piece of shit.
Oh, those are good. Almost as good as being hit by a car. That's my favorite.
I love IMDb.
Oh.
All right. So before we watch the trailer, what do you remember about House of Wax?
I remember it being kind of flashy. I remember the effects being amazing. I remember the deaths being creative. And I think that's pretty much, like, I remember, don't ask me about specific, like, who dies when or anything like that. But I remember coming out of that being like, good horror movie.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Same here. I didn't see it in theaters. This was a Blockbuster rental, and I got it probably because it was new and I would rent anything new. But I was not expecting a good movie. I was not a Paris Hilton fan. I didn't The Simple Plan and all that. I was expecting a pretty dumb movie. But I do actually remember when it was over saying that was actually really good.
Yeah.
Now I don't remember a lot about the movie.
Yeah.
And I went through great pains not to watch this trailer. But yeah, I do remember it being a good movie, a good horror movie. It surprised me. And maybe it was one of those where it was not the greatest horror movie, but it was a lot better than I was expecting, that type of thing.
But I think the distinction you just made is the distinction that we both made. It's a good horror movie. It's
Yeah.
not a good movie in general, but it's a good horror movie.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I remember it being. And I remember some deaths, like having to turn my head away. I remember, that nauseous feeling you get when something really gross is about to happen. Like, I remember getting that. Don't
Yeah.
ask me what death happened after I got that feeling. I have no idea. But yeah, I remember it being just a good horror movie.
All right. Well, let's watch the trailer and then we'll make our prediction.
You guys gonna do it tonight or what?
Stop!
The hell is that?
What does he want?
Can we help you?
Maybe we're on his property.
I'm gonna turn your lights off.
That guy was a freak.
So let's get out of here.
All right, let's go.
Come on, he's gone. Is anybody?
No, nobody.
Hello?
I don't think anyone's here. Hey, where's that House of Wax? It is wax. Literally.
This is weird.
Looks like a hell of a party. Look how detailed this is. Tell me this doesn't look real. You're saying that that's a real person underneath?
They're all wax, everyone. Help! Please, somebody! careful.
I am being careful.
What's going on?
I got creep factor from that.
Yeah, I think they gave away the ending.
Well, ish. I still don't know who survives because we know someone survives, but I don't know
And
which one.
was this the same people that did Ghost Ship?
I don't think so. The
No,
Dark Castle people?
Dark Castle. No, because the other one was
No.
not
These are the
Dark
ones I
Castle.
think they did The House on Haunted Hill, The Haunting. Am I right about that?
House on Haunted. Oh no, yeah, no, they did do Ghost Ship.
Oh,
House
did
on
they?
Haunted Hill. Yeah, 13 Ghosts, Ghost Ship, Gothica, House of Wax, The Reaping. Yeah.
Shit.
So this is one of theirs.
It has that feel to it.
Yeah. So if Ghost Ship got 15 and Leprechaun got 27, this one got 20. So this one should be even better.
100%.
But the audience actually gave this one 65 on
Mhm.
Rotten Tomatoes out of 250,000 audience scores.
Pretty solid.
Yeah. So again, that tells me that
Mhm.
critics are stupid. Oh, actually, you know what? I made a mistake. That was from so that's not good. All right, I have to make a change here. Sorry. Because when I redid it, I was redoing breakdown. Breakdown got 65%. House of Wax has 250,000 ratings and it comes in at 43%.
Okay then.
But Ghost Ship was along the same lines, 15 and like 37%. So I'm not overly worried here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks creepy. Looks
I was getting a creepy vibe from the trailer,
yeah.
and there's like just the idea of just wax encased dead bodies all around them. It gives me the creepy crawlies.
Yeah.
So that bodes well for it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are going to go watch House of Wax
Mhm.
and then we will come back and review it. Let me do the thing here.
Yep.
How do I end this one? Oh, I did end it. No, I did end it because we're gonna
Yeah.
go watch it and we'll be right
We're gonna
back.
go
Yeah,
watch it and we'll be right
yeah.
back.
For
Yeah.
the live one. Yeah. No, thanks for
Yeah,
watching.
yeah. No, we're good. We're good. I was like, what else are you gonna do? I don't
Yeah.
know.
So if you come back next week, we are doing the review of House of Wax
Mhm.
and we are previewing. Oh crap. Give me 1 second. What are we previewing next week?
I think we're previewing Grizzly.
Oh, Grizzly.
Yeah, I
That's
think
gonna be
Grizzly's next.
horrible.
I know, I'm excited.
That's gonna be a horrible movie. Yes. Yep.
Yep.
Grizzly. Must be summertime coming.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. This is gonna be great.
All right. Then we'll see you next week.